this is Mike from the workshop, and I'm here today to unpackage and review this brand new Cutech 13-inch 4600H planer. This is a new model that they just came out with. They had a previous model, however they made a few adjustments to it to include new tungsten carbide tips for planing, insert tips, as well as having the crank on the side instead of the top. I can imagine there are several reasons for that. Primarily, one, to offer more room to pass material across the top, and I also can imagine how it's possible having a crank up here could get in the way and possibly break if things are moving quickly around the shop and something were to drop right on top of it. However, this new model is here. It arrived today. I was excited when I got home from work to see it sitting on the porch, and so I am going to unpackage it right from the get-go, get it set up, and run some boards through it in order for you to see the specifics of what this thing has to offer. This excites me on several levels. One, I'm looking to replace my 21-year-old two-bladed planer, but two, I have some Christmas projects I'm trying to finish up, and this should help me plane down some parts. And so I'm going to do a review on this new tool. What makes this even more special is the fact that this is their brand new planer. They have redesigned this particular model and have made it so that the cutter head implement for turning is on the side instead of on the top. And it also includes tungsten carbide cutter head. And so the blades should last a lot longer given the nature of their strength, and should keep for a really nice clean finish. So I'm going to bring you over here and open this box up. As you can see, it arrived very snugly. Everything seems to be packaged very well. Nothing was damaged as far as outside appearance from the packaging, and it was nicely placed on my porch, so that is good. It does weigh in at right over 62 pounds, so it's a bit heavy. Well, they say it's actually 65 pounds, but it came well wrapped, and so here we go. I'm going to open things up and we'll take a look at what's all in there. Right on the top, we have right away our package with the instructions. It looks to be the side handle, and then mostly packaging. Remove all of that. Next, we have this secure styrofoam holding things in place. And then at that point, we get to the actual planer itself, which I will look to lift out of here. Sitting on top are a couple roller wheels. In addition, what looks to be the piece that fastens these in place, and the other parts as well. I'm going to go ahead and bring the box down so that I can lift this out of the box, and I'll put it on my bench. Overall, it seems to be packaged very snugly and is kind of nicely compressed in there. Everything seems to be have shipped just fine, and there's looks to be only a couple parts that need to get assembled. Otherwise, it's pretty much ready to go, apart from these few things to put in place. Once I get it fully unpacked, I'll bring you over to show you the specifics of what needs to get done in order to get this up and running. Upon opening the packaging, what we discover is that we have an instruction manual with just a few parts that are required to be assembled in-house. We have our crank handle, which will lower the cutter head, a knob that looks to go on the cutter head as well, 2 bolts which help put the knob in place. These 2 knobs go with the dust collection chute and allow you to quickly access the cutter blades upon removing it. These 2 rollers and the connector parts, which are for the top of the plane itself. This will allow you to take a piece of wood, pass it through the planer, and then roll it back over the top with a little more easy access. Upon a little closer look, you see that there's some styrofoam in the right places, protecting the cutter head from, I suppose, dropping down in transportation. And then you have these nice stamped in-feed and out-feed tables that are available for the use of the planer. I'm going to go ahead and get these parts in place, and then my next step will be to run a few pieces of white oak through the planer and to see what kind of finish we get from. Before I finish assembling everything, I wanted to bring you through a couple of the unique features about this particular planer. First off, as you can see here, this carries with it these tungsten carbide tipped inserts. And what's nice about these is that if you were to ever chip one particular one, you can just undo that, rotate it 90 degrees, and you have yourself a fresh blade. In addition, as I said earlier, this is a newer version, and what makes it newer is the fact that the raising and lowering mechanism is on the side, whereas the previous version had the cranking mechanism on top. I think this allows for several things, but primarily it allows you to be freed up here on top for when you're sending wood back and forth, etc. In addition to that, we have our height adjustment mechanism, which allows you to lock into a certain size piece of wood. And by doing this, you can lower down and it will stop at that particular location and allow you to get consistent thicknesses of wood. Other features that make this nice are, as pretty standard nowadays, a removable key in case you have young kids in the home. Also, a depth adjustment so you can see what kind of cut and what thickness of cut you're taking. And everything seems to have a real nice fit and finish to it. Again, I look forward to sending a few boards through this to get a better impression. But overall, my initial thoughts are this is a very nice machine at a very nice price for what it offers. And at this initial look, I would definitely not hesitate to suggest this to others. I just got done sending this white oak through my planer, and I have planed them down to 1/4 inch thickness, and quite honestly, these are pristine. Very little needs to be done as far as surface prep to these before you'd be able to put a finish on them. It comes out very, very smooth. There is a very little bit of snipe on the end, but overall these are very nice pieces to work with. In general, there's a tiny bit of dust that came through. Otherwise, my dust collector picked up majority of it. That certainly could have been my dust collector and not being able to grab everything, but the vast majority of chips are gone, out of the way. I would definitely encourage anyone in the market for a planer to consider this one. The Cutech 4600H with the new tungsten carbide tips is a great purchase. And if you have an interest in even checking this out, certainly there's a link below in the video, and I'd encourage you to click on that and get a better insight into what this machine is all about. But overall, I think that I made a great purchase and would definitely recommend this to anyone in the market for this particular type of planer. What got me interested with Cutech initially was the fact that I had a Delta joiner, and I wanted to upgrade the cutter head on that, and so I worked with them to create a cutter head that would fit that, because it turns out they were the original manufacturer of that particular joiner, and so they sell a kit allowing you to upgrade from the 2-blade joiner head to a segmented cutter head. And with some simple steps, it's a really easy project to do if you're... Thanks for watching. I hope this helps, and certainly shoot me some questions if you have any. Otherwise, take care.